Money is abundant. There is so much money out there. Money is always coming to you. Money is always flowing to you. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I feel like I have a very different outlook on life because of my life and just myself in general, right? So like people will call me spoiled. Oh, you're spoiled, right? I I usually always tell people both of my parents had a very hard, difficult life. And by the grace of God, they came together and made me and did not give me a hard, difficult life. I was always in trouble. I was always on punishment. I was always being lectured by my parents. But financially, like, we had a roof over our head. I had food in the fridge and I had clothes on my back. You know, because that's what parents say. Like, I gave you the bare minimum, pretty much. Now, I did not grow up necessarily poor in poverty. I didn't grow up necessarily in the hood. You know, I was also raised by like my grandparents. So yeah, I did have those times where I was living at my grandma's house. I was sleeping on the couch. I was sleeping on the floor. But I still had something to eat and I still had somewhere to lay my head. Right? So, in terms of my childhood, you know, finances were decent. Like, I wasn't worrying or stressing or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm 28. I started working when I was 14. The minute I could get a job, I got a job. There's a program in the Bay in San Francisco called MyEap. And it's basically to help you, like, youth to like get a job, you know, create a resume. So that was my first experience. I started off at like a daycare, and then I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, I think my sophomore year of high school. So freshman or sophomore, I was about 14 because I started school when I was around 4 or whatever. So I've always been the youngest in the class. After that, my junior year, I started working at Foot Locker. I was leaving school because I had enough credits to be able to leave school and go start work at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon at Foot Locker. That was my first real job, was Foot Locker. Outside of the Boys and Girls Club. Like working retail, I actually applied to a job. I actually did all of those steps. Like, that was my first job. And that's when I first started making money. And from there, your girl has always had a job. I have always had a job. I tell people all the time, my family, my mom knows, I am going to have a job. I'm going to keep a job. I'm going to make some type of money. The money has to be coming. There's no way. I like nice things. I like to buy myself stuff. I want to go out to eat. I want to buy myself this. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do that. Right? It's time for graduation, and I used to live by an IHOP. And I don't know, I think I just wanted to work there because it was just close to my house. And I was just like, okay, this should be easy. This should be simple. Like, it's close to my house. I just want this job. I didn't know much of anything about restaurants or working at a restaurant. This was my first experience. When I started working at IHOP, I started off as a host and I moved my way up and I became a server. And this girl, Lauren, I will never forget her. Because our crew, we was tight. We was so locked in. At IHOP, we went through 10 managers in a year. We would have a manager for maybe 3 weeks at a time. Boom, gone. No manager, 2 weeks at a time. Boom, manager, 3 weeks. Boom, gone. Right? She said to me, she said, every table is your table, even if they're not your table. She said, you never know who's going to come back and sit in your section. You treat everybody the same, whether they tip you or not, and do not expect to get tipped. That was the most life-changing information, because anytime I meet somebody, I tell them this. Anytime I meet a new server, a beginning server, anytime I meet anybody, that is what I tell people. When you work at a restaurant, your perception of money changes. Because you're making money every day, what do you mean I need to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck? Like, I used to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck. And then when I've gone into, obviously, like, other fields, I've been in dental. I was an esthetician. I've worked places where you only get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Not even every 2 weeks. And then sometimes that 15th to the 1st be 3 weeks. And that 1st to the 15th be 2. So now I gotta make this money stretch. Working at a restaurant, serving, bartending alters your brain. Alters your idea of money. Alters how money comes, how money flows. And I think for me, because of my upbringing, one, I don't like arguing about money. I never ask people to pay me back. If you volunteer that you will pay me back, I still take it with a grain of salt. Because how I was raised, my family says, you always ask for more. Anytime you need to ask somebody for some money, you always ask for more than what you really need. If you need 50, you ask for 100 and you work your way down. Because if they give you 75, at least you got what you needed and then some. Always ask for more. And don't volunteer to pay people back. Just don't volunteer to pay people back at all. Ever, in general. No matter who you borrow from. I cannot have this amount of money. Can you help me? If you do not have the money now, you're not going to have the money by the time you get it. So there should never be a thought in your mind to tell somebody that you're going to pay them back. You already don't have it. You already don't have it. And you need this. This isn't, oh, I want this. You need this money to buy or pay, to use this for whatever you need it for. The other thing is, I don't like when people police people with money that they gave you. Once you give it to somebody, you don't get to tell them and decide what they do with the money. What do you mean? I asked you for this money, and now you like, oh, well, you finna go buy that? Yes. Yes, I am. Like, I don't like when people were like, oh, I don't give homeless people money because they're going to spend it on drugs. That's what they wanted to buy. That's what they want. They want to be happy and high. And I don't blame them, because sometimes I want to be happy and high too. Money is abundant. I don't like beefing with people over money, because it's such an easy, in my mind, it's such an easy thing to come by. It's such an easy thing to get again. It's so minuscule that if we're beefing over this, we have bigger issues. Either I do or you do. Whatever it is. I've fallen out with people over money because, I wouldn't say I've fallen out. They've fallen out with me over money because if you say something like chump change, something along those lines, oh baby, you don't ever have to speak to me again, boo. If money is a serious, dire, anything of that sort, you could count me out. I would rather give this to you and just let you go and let you be, even if I don't got it. Even if I give you my last $15, my last $30, $40, $50, I gave it to you out of love. I gave it to you because you wanted it, you needed it. I gave it to you. I don't want it back. I don't want nothing in return. No. Falling out with people over money. Most people fall out in general over a lot of things over some money. No. I think money is so abundant. I'm always going to get more money. The money is always going to come back. In general. No matter what you're doing, what job you have, the life experiences that you have, the people in your life may or may not come back. But this fucking money will always come back. But this is also my mindset and my mind frame around money. I think so abundant. Like, I got $200 in my bank account right now today. But I know that when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to get paid. I know that on the first comes, I'm going to get paid. I know that I get my tips at a certain time frame and I get my check at a certain time frame. I know that the money is going to come back. But I also know how to make some money. I also know how to hustle. I also know how to make sure I'm going to be straight. Money is abundant. And people are like, oh, you're spoiled, you're spoiled. I was spoiled, but I also hustle. I also work my ass off to get everything that I have. I'm not just sitting on my ass and thinking, oh, the government, oh, somebody finna just hand this to me, put it in my hand. Do I want you to put it in my hand? Yeah, of course. But that's not just my general mindset, as I'm just finna sit on my ass. I don't condone bum shit. At all. By any means. Male or female. That's out. But the money is going to come. You have to learn how to manage your money, keep your money. And there was times I would blow it. And I think working in this type of industry, I've blown it because I know that I can get it back. But over the last couple of years, it's like, okay, girl, you really an adult. You really got to buckle down. You really got to build your savings back up. And I would say within this last year, I haven't worked full time. I haven't worked how I normally have worked. So this last year is like really pulling the dog out of me. Like, what do you know how to do? What can you do to make some money for real? Cause I can't see nothing in my account. 10, cool. 2, okay, we doing something. 3, okay, we chilling. I want some more, but like my parents, strict, frugal. Even though I wouldn't say they have money, but like my parents aren't. They not out here buying any and everything, but they also are like, money is a tool. Money is a resource, right? And when you see money as a tool and money as a resource to get you, the things you need, then you're like, okay. So people think like, oh, I could just do this. Oh, I could just blow it. Like, you can, but should you do that? Right? And I also don't want to, or I also don't like to rely on people for anything. I don't ever want to have to call anybody and ask them for help. And that's a me issue. I don't like asking for help. The way I was raised, I ask for help as a last resort. I am going to figure it the fuck out. By any means necessary, I'm going to figure it out before I have to ask for help. When it comes to money, you gotta reel it in. You need a high yield savings account. You need a Roth IRA. You need one for your bills, a checking account for your bills, and a checking account for your spending. I think that's top 4 things you really need. Maybe a regular savings account, so 5. But I just had to get on here and talk about this because it was just on my mind. It was on my heart. And I feel like the more that you, I don't want to say are so easily giving with money, but just not expecting it in return when you give money to somebody, the more that it's going to come back to you. I know that money is abundant and it's always going to come back to me. I have a money bowl at my door with some money in it, with affirmations in it. But I also know in my head, in my heart, I am wealthy. I am rich, and not just financially rich and financially wealthy. I'm rich in other aspects of my life. So that's just my mindset on money, and I feel like everybody should be a server, bartender, and really educate themselves, because it's not, the job is easy, but you are literally working your ass off for the money that you're getting. And when people don't tip at restaurants, sometimes I gotta come out of the tips that somebody else left me to contribute to going towards this restaurant, towards the kitchen, towards whatever. You gotta tip the whole style. You gotta tip the to-go people out. You gotta tip the bar out, because they've been making drinks all night. And I worked at a restaurant where she felt like she didn't have to tip me as the bartender, tip me out, even though I was making drinks for everybody. So once you work in that type of industry, your mind completely changes. And I've worked with people that are like, oh, I've never tipped people before. You mean to tell me you asked this person that's serving you, that's waiting on you hand and foot, you're not going to leave them anything? People think $500 on a $300 tab is okay. I worked in Atlanta for 3 months, for 90 days. I was working at Memphis Barbecue Company in Sandy Springs, Georgia. And I was making $2.43 an hour was my hourly wage, because it's called a slave wage federally by the government. It's not based on the state, it's based on the federal government. As people are like, oh, well, you should just get a better job. I've had better jobs, and I've still made more money at a restaurant. I worked in Tampa, Florida for 2 years, working at a restaurant, making $9.98 an hour. And that averages out to maybe $100 to $200, depending on the week and how many hours you work. And that's still not enough to stay afloat and pay your bills. And if you got kids and you buy groceries and say you live 45 minutes away, you're drowning. You're drowning. Anyway, neither here nor there. Money is abundant. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Okay? You should say that. That should be your affirmation. Money is always coming to me. Okay?